Welcome to Your Anime Senpais. I'm Richard.
And I'm John.
And John, I want to take a minute to kind of step back. I know it's the new year, but I want to take a minute to step back and kind of reflect on 2019 and all the different anime we watched, whether it be anime that we reacted to or just watched on our own, and just kind of remember the good stuff, things that we really enjoyed. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because not too long ago we noticed that Funimation put up their top 5, and that kind of just inspired us to make this video and really just make us wonder, like, what did we enjoy? What was our personal top 5?
Yeah.
But before we get to our personal top 5, of course, let's discuss Funimation's top 5 and their honorable mention.
Yeah.
And see what they had to say.
Yeah. So let me change this and we'll pull it up. And if you notice, they're all going to be Funimation videos, of course.
Yeah,
but we'll just go through them real quick, not spend a whole lot of time. There will be full spoilers, so with these and with everything else we do talk about in the video, just so you know, I mean, we're reviewing them. You had your chance. So anyway, we had number 1 was, of course, My Hero Academia. Well, we're both didn't even coordinate this, but we're wearing shirts. We had Demon Slayer, which I will say I hear a lot of good things about, and sadly, because we didn't have time to review it or whatever, react to it, we never watched it.
Yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to watch it.
Can't really put that on our list. Just spoilers for that.
Yeah.
Shield Hero. That was a pretty big deal earlier in the year.
Yeah, kind of controversial too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, especially that first episode. And then they had Black Clover, which was kind of, for me, I thought this was weird because it's been going on for, I think we looked it up
2017, 2018, something like that. Yeah, it's been going on for a little while now.
So I mean, it took place during this year, and I think some of the more recent arcs that have happened this year, I've heard a lot of good things about. I'm a little behind on it, so and then Fire Force. Fire Force was of course a really great one that came out. I had not really heard too much about it, and then it just came out and literally blew me away with all the quality of the fire animation, and both of us actually, so really good stuff. And finally on their list, their honorable mention was the
Cautious Hero.
Overly Cautious Hero, yes. That's kind of hard to read, these small images they got. But so the Overly Cautious Hero, that was a pretty decent one. A little comedy, different take on the isekai genre trope kind of thing. So we saw this list and we're like, okay, they had some pretty decent stuff. Kind of was like, hey, well, why don't we talk about our top 5? So let's just move this list off of our screen. And we'll just we'll start from the bottom, go to the top. Richard, what was your number 5?
My number 5? Well, before I do my number 5, let me just throw out the honorable mention here. So I know we're kind of wearing the shirts, but My Hero actually didn't make it on my list this year. Really, considering the previous season with all the different things that happened last season, it's hard for them to come back from that. I mean,
the story was good.
The story so far has been good for season 4. And to be fair, season 4 isn't quite done yet, and that's another reason why it's not on my list. But last year you had the fight between All Might and All for One. And, that just was so... And also the rematch between Deku and Bakugo. And, there was just so many dramatic moments. And, of course, we did have a dramatic moment this last episode with Lemillion.
Yeah.
But, honestly, when I do my criteria for these series, I can't say that... sorry. When I do my criteria for this series, for any series, anything that I say that I really enjoy, my criteria is, do I look forward to each and every episode? And once the series is done, am I just like, oh no, man, I really wish this would keep going on. So so far for me, at least on this particular season of My Hero, I've not felt like that.
It's like you want to know more. It's not like a need. It's like it's like it's going back to an old favorite. Like, hey, I kind of want to know where this is going.
Right.
And yeah, of course, the little million help episode did help. Like,
right.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was great.
And there's been underlying tones with everything that you're like, oh, there's this mystery going on, this drug that takes away quirks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's never been anything like too. Nothing's ever like kept me on the edge of my seat. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just been, and don't get me wrong, Red Riot's episodes were great, but they also, they resolved in the episode they were in, and I wasn't left like, oh, what's next?
Right.
But not to downplay those episodes.
I mean,
really
yeah.
Good.
I mean, it so far this season has been good, but it just hasn't been great. I guess, for at least in my opinion. I'm sure people will probably flame me for this because, like, oh, what are you talking about? This has been the greatest.
And to be fair, this will probably be on our top 5 next year.
It could be,
because,
absolutely.
Who knows where this is going to go after Lemillion loses his powers and everything, and whatever's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So.
Was there any honorable mentions for you that you want to throw out there?
Honorable mentions. I guess maybe. Well, I mean. My Hero was one because it is not in my top 5 as well.
Right.
But Isekai Cheat Magician. I had a lot of fun with it. It was very heavy into the tropes of OP main character who has, all this power at his disposal. He has powers beyond belief that everyone's like, how are you doing this?
Right.
And yeah, he had no problem almost with anything he came across. And it was just... I don't want to say dumb fun, but it was just you could just switch your brain off and just go along with it. It was just a good laugh sometimes over how some of the stuff played out. So I just enjoyed it. It wasn't nothing that I was like, kind of the same criteria of like waiting for each week, but it was just something good to watch on the side. So I did want to mention it.
Yeah, and actually on that note too, I would say I guess I kind of had the same feelings with Overly Cautious Hero, which going back to the Funimation's honorable mention. Overly Cautious Hero would also be on my list, although the last 2 episodes kind of took a dramatic turn, and I was not expecting that. And not saying that was a bad thing, it kind of surprised me because I signed up for a good old time, and then all of a sudden, bad things, and it's just like,
wow, I haven't got to the end of that, so yeah. I mean, I'm
sorry.
I don't know.
Spoilers.
It's no problem at
all. I'm just gonna say like it really just took a very dramatic turn. It was just like
enough to where it just turned it off from the rest of the
series
in general.
Not quite, but it was surprising, and I just was like, I signed up for a good time, and now I'm getting feelings, and it hurts.
Oh.
But that being said, all the rest of the season was fantastic. I really just enjoyed it, especially like the chemistry between the 2 main characters and how he just oh gosh, what's his name? Seiya. How Seiya just treats the goddess, just like throws her around or whatever, and just like she is clearly head over heels over him, but he's just like whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm here to do a job or whatever. So. But anyways, that being said, moving to our actual top 5. My number 5 is Fire Force. Really enjoyed that series. The story started off strong, but then it just kind of went into some weird places, and I was just like,
yeah,
okay.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
And also too, like there were some things that I was just kind of like, what? With Chris's magnetic tentacle things, whatever, or Lisa, was it
Lisa? Yeah.
Sorry, Lisa. With Lisa's like powers, and
I mean, there was I think Vulcan came up with something that you could toss it on fire and it would put it out with magnets.
Right, and it's just like,
I was like, well, this world you've created is interesting at first, but now it's getting really weird.
Yeah, but see, with that, and also with what's her name, Tamaki's like random habit of losing her clothes, like what?
Her.
But despite all that stuff, I mean. As we said during our review of Fire Force, the animation's like top notch all throughout this. Yeah. Not even just like it wasn't even just like the first episode or the first couple of episodes. honestly, all throughout that series.
For the most, there were a few moments where I was like, it feels like we're dipping a little bit, but it was never enough to where I was like, oh, you guys just
ruined it, right?
You guys just threw in, just chucked this one out and didn't even try. But I never got that feeling from it. But I did.
I felt it was pretty consistent though. Like
yeah,
like 99% of it was very consistent. Like very amazing. I was just like, but of course, the animation alone wasn't enough to sell me. I mean. Or rather, the animation alone isn't the only thing that's holding the thing up.
Yeah.
Of course, it's got great characters. Again, despite Tamaki like loser and close, she actually, had some really good moments in there. Shinra, really fell for the guy, especially when he finally meets with his brother for the first time in what was it, 12 years, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And it's just like, that very emotional moment and. You also had Obi, the captain, like how crazy he's just doing. Like he's just a normal guy, but then he's also like lifting all these crazy weights and all that stuff, and it's just like okay.
I mean, just the chemistry among all of them was so good.
Oh, and Arthur too.
And Arthur's personality.
Oh man, it's just like what are you getting yourself into this time? But just despite that though, it was good character development. Even with Arthur, there was still good character development. Really, I really enjoyed the show overall. I really look forward to it each and every week, and I can't wait for the next season. Honestly.
Yeah, so. I mean, even though like you talked about, there was quite a few weird things that I had issue with that I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but there was enough. It wasn't enough to like make me stop watching altogether.
Right. Yeah. So absolutely. What was
and I'll just just make it short, but number 5 was Fire Force for me as well. So.
We did not coordinate this at all.
So we didn't like coordinate our list or anything. So but just to not save or spend too much time on it. Yeah, number 5 was Fire Force for me as well for those same reasons. Just every week looking forward to what weird thing we were going to get into. And I was hoping to find more resolution to Shinra's story, but I'm glad. I guess I'm not glad we got to continue this, but I am looking forward to more into this world because I want to know. What's up with this fire? What's up with people igniting? That's more my thing.
What is the evangelist? What is their...
why have they been around since Shinra was a kid or a baby?
Or even longer than that, probably, because we did have those like little intros like, after this great thing or great fire that engulfed the world. And,
blah, blah, blah. And Raffles. And
Raffles.
All this
Who is Raffles? What is their significance?
Yeah, but anyway, let's just move right along. So, number 4?
Number 4 for me was Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. Now, so, of course, Mob Psycho is just a fantastic story in general, obviously. Let me kind of just split this up here. The first half of the season was pretty good. It was kind of a, if I remember correctly, pretty. Yeah. Run of the mill for Mob Psycho. I was kind of surprised with the whole him getting a girlfriend type thing because I was like, oh wow, is this actually happening? But of course, she.
Oh yeah.
She betrayed him or whatever. But even despite that, Mob being Mob, super nice guy, and helped her out in the end. Kind of, I guess, because didn't she have like she was being made fun of or whatever, and he kind of stepped in.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she had been made fun of, and I think she even dated him on a dare or something like that.
Yeah, she dated him on a dare, but then like she had like a story that she wrote, and then her friends kind of just kind of chucked it, and then
I think they tore it up
tore it up or whatever. But Mom helped her, pick it up, whatever. Despite all the things that she did to him, he helped her out, and just Mom's just a great guy, but. No, what I was gonna say though, that first half was good, but then the second half was just like what? Specifically, starting when Mob, came home and his house was on fire. Like, that whole episode was just like, OMG, what's gonna happen now? Because
what's Mob gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah, and you would think. Because he was under the impression that his parents or his family was just dead. Because he walked in, he saw those burning bodies, whatever, couldn't identify them. And honestly, if it wasn't for Dimple, I think Mob would have just like went off the wall, like just went crazy. But yeah, I mean that from that point on, it was just like I was kind of on the edge of my seat. Like, is Mob going to cross that line? which he never did. He never did. But despite that, though, I was just like, man, like if something's going to push him over the edge, I think that would be it. And fortunately, it was not the case this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall though, again, Mob Psycho, it was a fantastic show, and I hope we get more of it. I'm not sure I can't remember if they actually announced another season or not, but if they,
I don't actually remember if they did or not.
I don't know if they have or not, but honestly, I would love to have another season because
just kind of see where it goes and everything.
Yeah,
so.
I don't see anything on here about it, but yeah, I would definitely like to see more Mob Psycho. Just man, it's just a great series. But anyways, what was your number 4?
So number 4 for me, I mean, Mob Psycho was an honorable mention, kind of just one of those other ones I did enjoy. Number 4 for me was Attack on Titan season 3. I don't know if part 1 also took place in 2019, but at least part 2 did. And part 2 we had the Beast Titan just really decimating all the humans and all the soldiers and everything as they were trying to retake and go back to the basement. Because that basement is where all the answers are.
Yeah.
And
we finally got to that.
Yeah, that's right. We did. Yeah, I was trying to remember. Did we ever get to the basement? Yeah, we did get to the basement finally. I mean, we learned so many different things, but that was so close to the end of the season.
Right.
And we lost a lot of soldiers. We lost a lot of, they lost a lot of friends in that season. But I mean, especially that hard decision. What was it, to resurrect
Armin,
bring back Armin or the commander?
Erwin, yeah.
Yeah. And that was really, really, just a tough decision they had to make for that reason.
Right.
And they had to really examine. They had to do a lot of quick thinking. Was it Levi had the decision?
Yeah, it was Levi's decision, but the other 3 were.
And I think he was even going to do the commander until the commander instinctively just swatted his arm out of the way in the middle of his dream.
Yeah.
And now Armin has to bear that weight of hey, I survived when the commander could have been the one here, but there were so many tough decisions they had to make in that season or the half season that I just every week I was like, well, what's going to happen? They had another Titan be revealed, the dog one or that was carrying stuff around.
Right.
We kind of found out about the why the Titans are there, about the beach, about how they were letting them loose and injecting them with stuff to turn them into Titans. I mean, the whole world of the Attack on Titan series just opened up. All of a sudden, we just thought, this was this huge country. We thought this was a huge country, and that was what all humanity was facing, was this Titan threat. Well, no, not really.
Right.
It was just this little island, and everyone, who was there was, I guess considered a cursed race or whatever. So they banished them there, and it was just a different perspective opened up on that series. So I really just enjoyed that part of the season just for all that.
Actually, let me throw out one more moment here. Levi versus the Beast Titan. That whole fight.
When he was trying to hold him off and everything.
Well, it was Erwin and all them ran in to distract him, and Levi just comes in and pretty much takes him down.
Almost, I think all but one of those soldiers that charged head on survived.
Well,
or died.
Yeah.
All but one. Yeah, only one survived or something like that. And
but then Levi came in and just pretty much tore up the Beast Titan and actually defeated him. But then the little
dog Titan, dog or whatever,
kind of took him out and whatever, and managed to rescue him.
Summoned all the other Titans that were just standing there onto him.
Yeah,
and it was
And then also too, you had the defeat of the Colossus Titan with Armin, sacrificing and the Armored Titan as well. Of course, I
mean, there were a lot of high stakes in that whole season, or that part of that season.
Right. Yeah, so, I agree with you on that. It was definitely good. It wasn't on my list, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it was just something that me personally I look forward to, and I really enjoyed it. The first half of the season with Levi's past and everything like that, it was good, but I can't remember if it was in 2019 or not. It was maybe at the end of 2018. I can't remember actually.
No, I think it was just part 1. Part 1 was just past.
Cause we did take a break between this, in the middle of that season, but I don't remember when it occurred. Right. So, but moving on, number 3 spot.
So number 3 for me was Lord Amaloi II.
Yeah.
Of course, it takes place in the Fate verse, which I'm a huge fan of right now. And honestly, seeing Waver, after the was the Fourth Holy Grail War, seeing where he went from there, him growing up, him becoming part of the Clock Tower, and all that good stuff. Like, I thought it was really interesting. The story was very good. I think I remember reading somewhere, maybe somebody made a comment or something where they had actually skipped some arcs. But even despite that, though, I still really enjoyed it. Still wanted more of of Waver and his story. Really enjoyed all the different cameos that we got from other different Fate series, like Olga Marie from Fate Grand Order, and what was his name? Sasaki Shishiko from Fate Apocrypha, amongst others. There's definitely more in there, but I really enjoyed seeing them. And honestly, even if that season was just complete trash, which it wasn't, I'm just saying, but if it was, the last episode where Waver had his dream sequence where he met Ryder again, that really hit me right in the feels, and that honestly made the whole series for me. Which, some people might be watching like, what? That one moment? Yeah, if you've watched Fate Zero, that one moment for this series definitely made it for me. So,
wow,
yeah, it was. I really enjoyed the series, the season.
I mean, I did have a good time. I don't know much about Fate, but yeah, it was
right.
It was enjoyable.
Maybe maybe we should watch and react to that sometime. Let us know in the comments below if we should. I've already seen it, but John.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, that would be my number 3.
Okay.
John, what would be your number 3?
Rising of the Shield Hero took me by surprise. Never had heard of it. It totally came out of left field, and I was, by the first episode, whenever they had that, I guess, controversial scene, whatever, where, she betrayed him and set him up for failure from the beginning.
Right.
Well, actually, the whole country was setting him up for failure from the beginning.
Pretty much,
I had no clue what was going on, but everyone was out to get this guy.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, toward the end, it did kind of suffer a little bit from repetition and just kind of like, are we doing this again?
Yeah.
But it did hold up from the fact that he did get his, I guess, revenge or his,
Kinda,
just whatever.
Yeah. He finally.
But he got everything back that he lost, and he got all of his credit back. He was and we found out about where potentially, I guess, where the monsters are coming from in these waves, because we found people from the other side of it. And
right.
In all, I am totally just ready for season 2 of this. With all the other heroes, the weapon heroes being against Naofumi, it was just really weird how they were constantly like, the two were besides the spear, the two sword and bow were just constantly on the fence. They were like, well, we want to take up for Naofumi because he seems like a good guy, but then they turn and
he's terrible.
Did you see what that guy? Did you hear what that guy did?
Yeah, no, right.
It wasn't even like they saw it. They would just take the word of anybody and everybody.
Right, and like you said, they just kept going on the fence. It's just like, after everything that Naofumi has done, like surely there would be a point where you just be like, oh, okay, well, I mean, he's obviously not as bad as everyone says he is, so. Clearly, there's something going on here, which I think they did kind of, stick up for him towards the end. But it's just like, it seemed like after that they were just still kind of like, yeah, I mean, you did do good stuff, but we're just gonna hang out over here.
Yeah, I mean, and I really appreciate how they took the isekai. It was really just beat to death. The past couple years, and they added a couple new things to it. I enjoyed learning about his talent tree throughout his shield.
Right. His
shield
about evolving.
Evolving and doing different things, getting different abilities. Learning about about how he kind of started using the economic system to grow his character instead of just sitting out there and trying to grind. He was like, well, I can't because I'm a shield. Well, he went different ways. He found ways to make tons of money and all this other stuff
And
through, growing herbs and whatever.
He also got him some help as well from slaves, essentially, which
Yeah.
in a way is also kind of controversial too. If you think about it.
I mean, he did controversial things, but in the end, he didn't treat them bad. I mean,
Right.
you know, even though he did have a slave, you know, he treated them like people. He treated them
Right.
like humans, or like whatever. Like, he gave them common decency and everything like that. So it wasn't like he just got a slave and he's over there back there cracking the whip like, hey, you need to grind harder for me.
Yeah.
So
Kind of
like
like with some other, like the king, I think, or no, what's her name? The one princess, not the younger one, but the older one.
Mine?
Yeah, didn't she kind of do stuff like that too?
I do remember the one king that I guess had captured. Oh wow, I can't remember her name now. The one helper for Naofumi.
Raftalia?
Raftalia. Wow, internet's gonna burn me for that one. But the one that had, I guess, originally enslaved her and her friend.
Yeah.
Because he did get a whip and was like,
the nobleman guy or whatever. Yeah. I remember him.
But I mean, there was that moment.
He got what he got coming to him though. So definitely, I think probably the only complaint I would have about that series, other than what we've already talked about, it would be that there was been a couple. If I remember, there was at least one time. I think it was like episode 21 or 22 where it looked like it was going to end right there. Like that was the end of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it's like, oh no, we still got 3 more episodes. It's like, oh, I mean, I guess
they actually did play it like the end of the series, and
it was just like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to have more episodes.
Yeah.
So. But
yeah, that was my number 3. So let's take it back. Number 2.
All right. Well, speaking of isekai and well, not necessarily beating it down, but so my number 2 was Isekai Quartet, which, just as a side note, I'm very much looking forward to Isekai Quartet season 2. But Isekai Quartet, of course, you got 4 different shows, all mashed up into one.
Crammed them all into one.
And all these shows that I really, really love. Actually, Overlord was the only one I didn't know about at that time. Of course, we've watched Overlord since then. But, Konosuba, ReZero, Tanya. Tanya. I keep thinking of the Japanese name for it. But anyways, Tanya the Evil. Those shows I really loved. And then, you cram them all together and make it into a comedy. Like, look.
I mean, you had 2 comedy series anyway.
Right.
Well, Overlord kind of was a comedy. It had its funny moments, but it wasn't like. Then you had Tanya and Overlord that were more serious tones.
Right. Or actually, even ReZero too, because ReZero had some pretty dramatic moments. But regardless, you have all these different characters, and you mash them up together into a comedy. Like right now, my mindset right now is I'm really into comedy. If it makes me laugh, I absolutely love it. Overly Cautious Hero is one example. But, this one, the only complaint I would have is that it was only 13 minutes long? 12 or 13?
Yeah, they're only half episodes.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, if only there was more. Oh, sorry, actually, there's 2 things I want to complain about. That, and also, there was more union bullying, which on this channel, we don't do that here. That's not allowed. No bullying of union. Because she was in her own class. She tried to
Yeah, that's true.
She was like, "Oh no, I'm part of class 3, and I've got all these friends over here." But it was just her by herself. I was like, But anyways, but yeah, just I really had fun with that series. I enjoyed when Tanya thought that Ainz was mysterious being X or whatever, and she got all mad, and he was just like, "I don't know what's going on here." Of course, you had the Konosuba crew, who always makes things wonderful. Always makes things lighthearted. I remember what was his name? Subaru and Rem. They were running down, and and then
you see darkness
with carrying a Kazuma, and I think Subaru was before he saw them though, he was just like, "Oh, if I were a man, then I should have more dignity or whatever, or something along those lines." But then he sees Cosmo, it's just like,
put me down.
Yeah, just put me down. Or they see each other and they're both like, just put me down, because they were running late for class or something like that. But it's just one of those shows where you can just turn off turn off your brain and just enjoy it for what it was and have a good laugh. And and honestly, like I said, I'm looking forward to season 2. But
I'll just save the time. My number 2 was Isekai Quartet as well. So, and I'll even say, adding to your list, like, you just had a good time with it, but it also took all the history behind each of those series and kind of just, it was there. It was like, with Tanya's group, they were saluting each other, trying to do the national anthem.
Yes, yeah, that
she was still looking for
mysterious being X.
Yeah, being X.
Yeah.
And no one really lost their characteristics.
Right.
Like we had all the voice actors. We didn't have imitation sound-alikes or whatever. I mean, we had all these crews come in. We had all their stories. We had all their backgrounds. And it was just so great that they just all came together and they were like, oh, we're in this school?
Right.
What?
And on top of that, next season we're going to have Rising of the Shield Hero in there too.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering if one of them gets to leave and the Shield Hero pops in. That way we keep it a quartet.
No, apparently it's going to be a quintet.
Oh.
I guess that's what it's looking like. I think I actually sent you a couple of videos where there shows all the different Rising of the Shield Hero characters interacting with everybody else.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see. And actually, on the note where you were talking about, all the characters keeping to themselves, or keeping their character traits or whatever, and keeping their histories. You even had the one scene where Ainz actually touched Subaru, and he actually had I guess the scent of the witch or whatever, and Ainz was able to detect them. You even had the song on there too, which is the creepy.
And I think when he did it, some of Overlord's other people came running, what was that?
Yeah.
People we didn't even know were in the series up to that point.
Right.
Came out of nowhere.
Right. And it makes sense because of how that all works with Subaru. But yeah, I actually didn't even think about that until you mentioned that, and it makes sense that they would all keep that. So it kind of makes me wonder how, for example, Ainz will. What if he touches Shield Hero's shield, Nafumi's shield, because it's got almost a demonic, because he absorbed the one dragon, right? And that's when it started becoming sort of demonic, and he had the oh gosh, what was it?
It seemed like the armor started to talk to him or something eventually,
right?
Or just the rage. I don't know how that all worked. But.
So I'm kind of curious to see how Ainz would, if that's even going to be a thing. You know? It could just be happy-go-lucky times, which would be fine.
I mean, I do enjoy that they scaled down some of Overlord's abilities, because, he was already so overpowered, but there were some things in that universe that were just, able to affect him so easily.
Right.
I was like, okay, I like the scaling we're kind of doing in this world, because they're not taking it too serious, because, honestly, Overlord's crew could have just came in there and just, I don't know, he could have just, snapped his fingers, turned them all into undead, and... Well, that would have been a really depressing show.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, though, I don't know if he would have been able to do that, because we don't know who put all these characters into this world in the first place.
And that's what I'm saying I liked about it, was there was all these scaling and different rules that they kind of took, and, even the one guy that had, the ultimate defense that could never, could always block everything and whatever, he kept his ability, no one could take him.
Right.
No matter what, so... Yeah, I mean, it was just a great time.
I mean, again, just having all these different characters interact with each other, I love anything that does that, because with Fake Grand Order,
crossovers,
just anything that would be a crossover, and just characters that would never interact with each other in any other circumstance that are now interacting with each other. You got Aqua that absolutely hates everybody on Overlord's side and doesn't like Ainz, and of course Cosmo's just stop making a scene, Aqua, and just pulls her back, I think she ended up being somewhat civil to them, and actually, what was it? Somebody was making fun of Albedo for still being a virgin, but then Aqua was just actually stood up for her and was oh wow, you're actually being a really nice goddess now for once, Aqua.
But, and I mean, it was actually speaking of another moment, whenever Tanya and Ainz sat down and they were yeah, we used to be businessmen. Oh yeah, I understand that.
Right,
I was too, and they're both what happened?
Right.
Is there discussions on how going to another world really just changed them and stuff like that? That was a pretty cool moment.
Right. But shall we move on to number one?
Yeah. Did you want to do another honorable mention? before number one, or
I actually didn't really have. The only other honorable mention is what you one of the ones that you talked about, which would be Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much for the same reasons. Just it had a lot of memorable moments. I didn't list it put it on my list just because of the fact that I just had so many others that I really enjoyed. But I did enjoy Attack on Titan season 3 for sure. So,
okay.
But otherwise, I didn't really have much else.
Yeah, because I just
got my number one.
I wanted to throw out One Piece at least because even though it's been going on for so long. The Wano arc this year has been so great.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to actually throw it out there as like, hey, 2019, the animation jumped up again, which was great. All the different fights have been going on. Where the story is finally, you can see a conclusion to it almost. It's just been great all around. So I just wanted to kind of throw out an honorable mention for that before we get to number one. And
actually, I guess I do have one other one. It's not a real mention just because of the fact that it's not finished yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be Fate Grand Order of Babylonia. Really enjoyed the animation, had some really good moments, but again, it's not finished yet. We haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes yet. We're just kind of like setting things up, and we had some good, like I said, some good moments here and there, but we haven't. The really good stuff is about ready to happen this next season, which should start this Saturday, actually. So, but anyways, for the actual number one, for me was Kaguya Love is War. So
I'm just gonna cut you off and say that was mine.
Okay. Well,
so the top two at least we agree on.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Kaguya. I had read the manga.
And I had not.
Before the anime, and then when the anime got announced, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fantastic. And sure enough, each week, even with the fact that I already knew what was gonna happen, I already knew what the story how it was gonna go.
Yeah.
It still was as good to me.
Even having it acted out would probably be even better.
Right? Yeah. Honestly, yeah. It was still just as good, if not better, than of an experience that I had when I read it in the manga. So, really enjoyed all the different characters. I would say if I had to make any kind of complaint, it would be that they had to end it, but we still got a second season coming up, so it's not so bad. And the only other complaint would be that I really wish that what's her name, Chica, with her ending, the one ending that she had where she was doing the Chica dance or whatever, that should have been the actual ending for each episode. Honestly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that because I remember you talking about because it was the animation and it just blew us both away.
Yeah,
but I know you're talking about it must have been rotoscoped and all this other stuff, and it was just some guy just freehanded that.
Yeah, apparently.
And I was like, wow, that was pretty impressive. And then it, caused the online sensation of every girl trying to
do that.
Potentially, maybe even guys out there. I don't know. I didn't watch them if they were guys, but all the girls trying to imitate the Chica dance.
There was one. It wasn't his own personal channel, but there was actually the one guy. I think he was the narrator, and it was for like a Kaguya special, whatever. And it starts off with him like, oh, this is gonna be ridiculous, and you have the song start playing in the background. He starts stepping. I was like, oh, this is dumb, blah blah blah, and then he actually starts doing the actual dance. And of course, Kaguya and Chica's voice actresses are just sitting there, and they're just absolutely loving it, and watching him dance. And actually, Chica's voice actress starts singing it too. Mm-hmm. So you have the audio singing it, and then her singing it, and it was just fantastic. But you're right. It did start off that whole thing, and I'm pretty sure even if they didn't actually watch the series, I'm pretty sure that one outro probably made the lists of people's list of top outros, intros, or whatever. For 2019, for sure, but it's just so enjoyable to watch. Mm-hmm. But again, those two complaints, kind of minor. Otherwise, I really enjoyed the show. I can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, I like the, I guess the quick and fast snippet kind of humor they had because they didn't focus on one long overarching joke throughout the whole thing. It was normally about, I would say, 2 to 3 mini.
Right.
Comic strips. They were just you'd come in, we'd have the quick we're in the office or whatever doing this, and now we're, doing this outside, and now we're back, with these other characters or whatever. We were always constantly moving, and it was
right.
whenever the joke was done, we moved. We
right.
didn't sit there and dwell on it or have a
Right.
big setup or a long drug out thing. It was just really great.
Yeah, I would say that it's pretty much how it happened in the manga. Actually, each of those snippets was pretty much one chapter of the manga. The only exception I would think would be towards the end of it, where you had Kaguya. She wanted to watch the fireworks, but she couldn't make it out there or whatever. And I think that actually took 1 or 2 episodes to finish, but it was actually multiple chapters in the mangas because that's when the president comes up and he finds her and takes her there, and you had the maid substitute for her and all this different stuff. So I would say that's probably the only exception, but everything else, like each of those moments or each of those comedic sketches or whatever, was pretty much one chapter from the actual manga itself. So.
And I do even have to throw out the fact that there was that 4th member or 3rd member, the one that was an otaku that was just kind of in the background. I don't even remember his name, but he was the one that was just like a shut-in or whatever.
Oh, Ishigami?
Yeah, like he was in the first part of the show, but he was always somewhere hidden.
Yeah.
And I never caught on to it until like you had pointed out, like, oh, we have another one coming. And I was like, what? And going back, I would always like see him like, oh, there's somebody that just looks like a background character, or just like like a filler character, like, oh, there's somebody walking down the street or whatever, just standing there, not really like, oh, that's a member of the student council.
He's a main character.
That's a main character. What? That was a surprising twist that I did enjoy. So,
all right, guys. So that's it for our top 5. What did y'all think? And is there any shows that should have been on our top 5? Let us know down in the comments below.
And did you enjoy this video? Well, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell beside it to keep up with our channel and all the content we do put out. And also, if you like this type of video and want to see other types of videos where we talk about random things, let us know. Give us some ideas. But also down in our description, you'll find links to our Patreon. Definitely click that and check it out. Watch our... we have full reactions on there, so we'll definitely see you in the next video.